by Reviting, streaming from the Reviting Digital Studio. It's the David Daily. Exploring frontier technology, artificial intelligence, quantum innovation, and the intersection of faith, funding, and the future. Here's your host, David Goki.
There we go. There I am. Welcome to the David Daily special edition for Wednesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone. We're doing a very special segment today. I'm very, very excited to share this with you. It will just be a very special Christmas Eve edition. We have thought about all of the different ways that we celebrate Christmas and the holiday. Of course, there's a different holiday every year, every different holiday we celebrate. And so thank you for the folks joining. I've already seen so many of you. Thank you for listening and tuning in. We're going to get right into the current topics today. And those current topics are incredibly important on our show here. We focus on funding, faith, and the future. Of course, I'm just going to put myself out of the screen here so we can get that full Christmas view. Absolutely love that. Funding, faith, and the future here on, that's right, you named it, the David Daily Show. This is a daily podcast show, episode 23. So let's get right into it. So as we look to the current events for today, actually, the US stock market is operating on shortened trading hours ahead of schedule. You may know that as a part of Christmas. As we see here, the US stock market today will actually close early on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So that's just only 1 hour and 41 minutes at the time of this live broadcast. If you're watching this later, of course, you'll see that later. But it will be very interesting to see how the stock market rallies here in the next hour and a half or so as we close. And of course, you always have after hours trading as well. Again, those US markets are operating on shortened trading hours today. Don't forget. Remember, that will close early and will resume regularly on December 26th. So tomorrow is a US holiday. It is completely a day off. Enjoy time with your family, your friends, and just get yourself to a place of rest, relaxation, and reflection. And that's what we have for the first bit of news. So secondly, Broadcom advances AI and post-quantum storage networking strategy. We've been talking a little bit about Broadcom. They launched its Gen 8 fiber channel platform, right? This platform is designed primarily to support artificial intelligence workloads, but we also see that the emerging security demands in connection to quantum era encryption and data protection is a very huge aspect of this announcement. Now, if you're in our part of one of the communities we're a part of is the Wealth Producers Academy, led none other than by Josiah from Freedom OC. And Freedom OC absolutely loves Broadcom. The WPA, Josiah there, enjoys following Broadcom news. Again, this is not financial advice, but we do see in the current events that Broadcom is actually advancing AI and post-quantum storage as a service. So that's very important. Thank you for the heart me. Oh, we're getting so excited here for the heart me's all across all social. Let's go. We've got so many viewers. Please tag where you're coming in from. We would love to see you on the show. And here is a bit of Christmas music for a quick intersection before we jump into part 3 of the news. And I am back with our third bit of news on the David Daily. Thank you for listening. Work is being reshaped specifically by Telefonica and IQM, who are partnering together to deploy Spain's first quantum computers. I want to bring some specific focus on this because we see that these quantum workloads are actually really lighting up, and especially Spain being part of the picture here. We can see that right here, Telefonica actually launched this particular piece on their website, actually, as Telefonica and IQM are partnering to deploy, that's right, Spain's supercomputer. They signed an agreement, a purchase agreement with the Galician Computer Center, in other words, the CESGA, to deploy a full stack quantum system, a milestone for European HPC. And as you know, we care about this type of a news because this is exactly what we thought would happen. We're going to start to see quantum computers and partnerships come together and fund each other, especially in Europe, as the European HPC and next generation compute infrastructure really do care about data privacy. We saw that with GDPR, we see that with the European data privacy, and need I say less because I'm not a lawyer, but make sure that you have good legal coverage on your data privacy. Use companies like Telefonica and IQM who are deploying quantum computers in security. That's very important. And we'll come over to some different news as we move on to our fourth topic, which I'm excited to share. Actually, we have not only do we have quantum lighting up, but we also have a funding update here. It is a funding update. We see that a Swiss US deep tech startup Enlytra raises $15 million for AI ready laser links. Again, this is a Swiss American startup, and it's very interesting to see. We see another little deal come in right here on Christmas Eve, where they raised $15 million to develop chip scale multi-wavelength lasers aimed at energy efficient AI, data transmission, and next gen data center communications. Wow, isn't that pretty exciting? It's very exciting to see news like this come up when we see funding, announcements, and updates, because as you know, we have a segment on the show called Funding, Faith, and Future. That is our focus. So anytime we see a little funding update pop up in the news, we make sure to make that a key piece. Now, our fifth final topic is we had discussed that Andhra Pradesh in India actually announced a quantum partnership with IBM and with TCS. You can see all of the brands on here, where their chief minister of India announced the rollout of quantum technology education for students, aiming to build future AI and quantum workforce skills starting in 2026, which, you guessed it, is exactly 1 week away. Can you believe it, folks? We are 1 week away from 2026. That is insane. It has been a wonderful year, and we're so grateful for the funding, the faith, and the future. And I absolutely love what's going on in the chat. We've got lots of love flowing across all platforms. Absolutely love that. I got to screenshot this because it's so great. And thank you so much for showing your support on all platforms. Really appreciate that. And of course, we've got lots of viewers tuning in today on the faith, funding, and future. So what I wanted to do today was, since it is Christmas Eve, I had prepared a very simple Christmas Eve special edition. And tomorrow is Christmas, Christ Mass, the way that we study Christ's future. And so what I've done here is I've actually come together and put together a special holiday segment. But before we jump into that, we're going to play a little bit more music so you can get a little bit more of those Christmas vibes. We're going to turn off this timer at the top because we don't need a timer no more. And we're going to play that music now. See you in a couple minutes. Welcome back, and thank you so much for listening into some musical tunes as we move to our Merry Christmas Eve special segment here. Thank you for tuning in and listening again. The first segment that I'd like to showcase is just to start with an introduction to the Christmas Eve spirit and say that stillness over speed is the first focus. Christmas isn't about acceleration, it's about alignment. So as the world pauses tonight, not because work stopped, but because meaning stepped forward and silence clarifies what noise hides. Silence clarifies what noise hides. I really like that perspective. So in this first special segment, we'll discuss stillness over speed, this idea that you can truly rest. Yeah. Take a deep breath, pause, because tonight is not about acceleration, it's about real, true alignment with yourself, with others. And as we think about technology with the soul for part of our second segment, this is really talking about tools amplifying our attention. Tools don't replace it. The future belongs to builders who pair wisdom with power. Wisdom with power. So technology can have a soul, but technology by itself is soulless unless the people who have souls build the technology. Just want to highlight that today as an important aspect. Tools amplify intention, they don't replace it. So if you have good intention, you'll amplify. If you have bad intention, you'll amplify. Software amplifies intention. Technology amplify intention. And so the future belongs to us builders, come on, who pair wisdom with power. And that leads me to my third point, which is stewardship check. Come on, what did you build this year? What did you protect? And what did you ignore? You see, stewardship is actually love in action. It's saying, I care about you and I'm showing you with my actions. So, quick prompt. What did you build this year? What did you protect? And what did you ignore? That's a really good stewardship check. And also, as we lean into stewardship work, refined your output matters. Your character matters even more. And purpose will only survive with every upgrade. Meaning is never automated. Let me lean in there one more time. So your output matters. Your human output, what you say, what you think, what you believe, and what you do really matters. And even more than the efficiency that AI and technology and cell phones and social media and all that bring, is that your character matters even more than that. And that is exactly why work gets to be reframed. And meaning is not automated. You can't generate real, true meaning on automation. Of course, then that brings us back to our fifth and final piece of this segment, which is the quiet signal. Oftentimes, hope does not shout, it arrives quietly in trust, in obedience, in choosing light anyway. So the quiet signal is more about your hope being quiet, arriving silently, in security, in quiet obedience, choosing light. My closing thought is simply this, that peace is not passive. Peace is active and it's a disciplined alignment. So build from there. Start with peace being an active and disciplined alignment and build from there. And finally, a simple call to action: create some space to pause tonight. Pause tonight, name what truly matters, and resume tomorrow with clarity. The new year is going to be upon us very soon. And so today, in our special segment for Christmas Eve, we play a little bit of Christmas music. Of course, we looked at the markets and the news as we do. Tomorrow will also be live for Christmas Day. You can catch me live daily. I'm going to drop all 25 episodes tomorrow as a Christmas present to you. And I just want to say thank you for listening and watching. We will close with our special music. Thank you for watching.